Namaste and a very warm welcome to the Nationalist Madrasi. This is a weekly collaboration with Bharata First and the Nationalist Madrasi. We'll try to bring out the international affairs every week or every instantly, however it is possible. Today we have the founder of Bharata First, that is none other than our Frank Pereria, sir. Thank you so much, Frank, sir. It's indeed a pleasure knowing you for all these years and working with you and now hosting you as well. So thank you for giving me this opportunity, and we will try to bring all these instant newses whenever time permits, and whenever we'll put this as soon as possible to the viewers as well. Thank you so much for this initiative, sir.
Thank you so much, Raghavan, for having me on your program, and good to be collaborating. Good to be collaborating with you and bringing this out jointly between Bharata First and your pro channel as well. So wonderful to be here. Good to know you over the years, and good to have interacted with you, and good to finally collaborate on the screen as well. So lovely to be doing this. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. It's a proud moment for me to host you, actually. So I'll start the program immediately, sir. Sir, the Alaska summit, which has happened, a week or 10 days before. So can we come to a conclusion that Trump has finally won the power battle between the world, or with the Russia, or the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war? We'll discuss that in detail, and we'll discuss the India-US strategic relations also, because nowadays it is going on as a hot topic, as our external affairs minister also said, in many ways. So we'll discuss about everything in detail. So what is your take on the Alaska summit, and what will be the way forward for the Russia-Ukraine war, sir?
So President Trump has been pushing really hard to get some kind of a solution with regards to the Russia-Ukraine war. And despite all his efforts, despite everything that he's done over the years, he's not been able to successfully put an end to the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Now, there's a lot of give and take that he's been throwing out onto the table. He wants Russia to end the war immediately. In fact, even the last time, not the visit that happened a few days ago between Zelensky and Trump, or Zelensky's visit to the US. In the previous visit as well, President Trump was very upset with Zelensky and the way he communicated with him, and how he was
using of funds and everything.
Yes, so even this time around, if you look at the summit itself and how it transpired, President Putin was far more prepared than President Trump, and that was something that caught President Trump off guard. President Putin had come there, with a lot of information, with a lot of, the items to put on the table and talk and counter President Trump as well. And he really didn't have anything much to say. So once again, President Trump was really exposed on the international front, and we've seen that happening time and again over the years. So it's very clear from how certain world leaders are trying to get closer to him by talking about how he is a man of peace. In a conflict that took place in South Asia as well, Southeast Asia, between Thailand and Cambodia. Even they started speaking about President Trump and his greatness and how he is doing so much for peace. Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, also keeps talking about, the master of peace being Trump. So everywhere, he has tried to get involved in some way or the other and take the credit of peace. Even with India and Pakistan, it was one of the biggest problems between India and Pakistan, where President Trump time and again said that it was because of my intervention that, things didn't escalate between India and Pakistan, and India and Pakistan have sorted out their issues because of me. Something that India has very vehemently and very clearly denied. And we have said it on so many occasions. In fact, even the Prime Minister in the floor of the Parliament recently has said that the US did not have anything to do with India and Pakistan. So the only real challenge for President Trump that way, or the only two people who are not bowing down to President Trump and saying that, yes, you are the master of peace, one is India, and the other one has been Russia. President Putin has been very strong and very firm, really, as far as he is concerned. And that is somewhat, irritating Trump, and is frustrating President Trump also to a large extent. So that's how I would look at the situation between Russia and the United States. And the Alaska summit itself is on those lines. A little more frustration and a lot more anger for President Trump.
Okay. So, who is the biggest gainer in this summit? Let's say either it is Putin or it is Trump. Yeah, I'll put it in that manner because comparing Zelensky and Putin is, I mean, today it is not at all possible because Putin has gained a lot of things actually. But okay, let's say if he's agreeing to a ceasefire or let's say the war is going to end, like, I mean, we can openly say that Putin is one of the greatest gainer of this 3 years long war. So, can we say that who is the biggest gainer? It is President Putin or President Trump who is getting it all together in a end game?
So, firstly, let's try and understand, and there are no gainers as far as war is concerned. Of course, there is someone who gets the upper hand and then goes ahead. So, no gainers as far as war is concerned. War should be condemned in every possible way. But war has always been a part of humanity right from the beginning. So it is something that is going to continue into the future as well. We are not going to learn from our mistakes from the past. And that is in nature of mankind, really, to fight and to quarrel and to have some kind of war or the other. There are quarrels it starts from the lowest level. It starts from home. There are quarrels at home, in society, etc. So it goes on to the largest extent and the biggest stage as well, which is war between two countries. One thing that President Putin has done over the years is that he has stood strong, despite the sanctions, despite everything that has been thrown at him by the West. G8 became G7. So many other things have happened. But President Putin has been strong, has been firm, has been set really as far as his conditioning, his words, everything that he does is very clear. There is no two ways about it. There are no other voices coming out of Russia as well to talk about how this could have been done differently or could have been done in some other way, because that's the kind of control that he has as well. And that control is being exhibited even on the global front. And, the Europeans also and President Trump have been talking about how India is buying a lot of oil from Russia. But they themselves are, one of the biggest importers of gas. Without Russia's gas, Europe will not function in the winters or even otherwise. So what are they doing about that? Isn't that double standards then? Why is it that only India has to stop buying oil? Why isn't President Trump or the European Union imposing the same kind of pressure on China? Why India? India has become a soft target, nothing else. And it's Trump being a big bully. He's just trying to bully India into a corner. He tried doing that with China and it did not succeed. Because China struck back, and he knows at the end of the day, if China really, really wants to, they can hurt the United States. It's a lesson for India as well in all of this. We should become stronger. We should aspire to be in the position that China is now. If we were in China's position today, Trump and the United States wouldn't have been doing the same thing that it is doing right now. There is also another lesson for India. History has told us that Americans cannot be trusted, and it is very clear. And on the one end, President Trump is calling India a friend, and United States has been calling India a friend. You don't do such things to friends in diplomacy and in foreign service. So that's something that we have to learn as well. So these are some lessons for India. As far as the winner is concerned, I don't really want to pick a winner. More than a winner, I will say that Putin has stood strong and has stood the test of time.
Okay.
And if you want to categorize him as a winner, then possibly maybe he comes in the winning category.
Okay, got it. What's left for Zelensky? Because I think he has been running after leaders, and he has been running, pressing after every big leaders. Even he has, whenever he meets Prime Minister Modi as well. So India is one of the big player. India is one of the trusted partner of Russia, and he says to, he asked for mediating as well. That was an open mediation request for the Indian leaders as well. So what is left for Zelensky actually?
Zelensky, came in at a most opportune moment, and he became what he is today. But he is not as strong as he was when he came to power. In fact, I believe very strongly that there are other leaders within Ukraine itself who possibly will dethrone Zelensky sometime in the near future. Zelensky is what he is and where he is today only because of the support of NATO and only because of the support of the West. If they were not there, we wouldn't have been even talking about Zelensky today. So as far as Zelensky is concerned, I think he's just waiting it out, trying to buy time and trying to go into the future and try to hold on to what he has as long as possible. And if there is no support of the West, there will not be Zelensky anymore. So Zelensky is buying his time. Zelensky's time is running out because even President Trump seems to be extremely frustrated with the entire situation. And even before, Zelensky met President Trump, Trump kept speaking about maybe, Ukraine has to cede some ground. Maybe Ukraine has to listen to what Putin is saying and try to bring this to an end. So even Trump seems to be running out of patience. Now, how long he is supported by the West remains to be seen. But he's not in a strong position, or not in as strong as a position that he was a few years ago.
Okay, got it. So, you told about the double standards or the contradictions of Europe, which is doing nowadays. But every European leaders were present over there. All the important leaders, from the German Chancellor to the French President Emmanuel Macron, and everyone, British Prime Minister and Finland President, the EU Commissioner, everyone was present at the White House at the day where after the post Alaska summit has happened. So what it is signaling actually, and they were kept waiting also when the press conference of Zelensky and President Trump was going on. So what it is a signal to the EU, or the signal to the Europe, or it is to the signal to the leaders as well? Because see, that picture was showing where the Europe is today as well. And the Europe also accuses the USA in many ways, but they seems to be having a double standard over here. What is Europe today actually?
So Europe, for many years now, a few decades now, has been riding piggyback on US. Everybody knows that, right? They have hardly contributed really as far as the NATO's missions are concerned, or contributed with regards to peacekeeping to the kind of extent that we would have liked them to do, because they claim to be, holier than thou, and they claim to be the real protectors of so many things in the world, right? But if you look at it from a financial contribution point of view, the EU's contribution has been very minimal. So I think, President Trump has done the right thing in that sense, in saying that, if you want world peace, if you want so many of if you want to bring an end to climate change, etc., etc. Of course, Trump believes that climate change is a hoax. That's another matter altogether. But if you want to be a part of these major discussions and major items that are taking place at the global stage, then you don't just back it up with words, but back it up with money, and back it up with some kind of physical aspect as well. So from that perspective, the Europeans and the European Union have been a little skeptical, because Trump has shown that he is an extremely volatile leader, and there is so much that he can do. And his foreign policy can change at a whim, and can change on a post on Twitter, or a post on social media. So the European Union also understand that it is easy to get on the good side of President Trump as well. Just humor him a little bit and tell him that yes, what you're doing is right, etc., etc., and then he is humored. So the European Union is just doing that because they know that Trump has another 3 more years, and after that they're going to see a new president. After that, we don't know what kind of a president we're going to see. But then let's just buy our time. Let's just wait it out. Let's just sing his tunes. Let's just get past these 3 years in any way possible. And that's where the European Union stands. And that's why they have also agreed to many of the terms on tariffs. What was the main agenda really as far as the meeting between the European Union leaders and Trump was that, trade was one. Transatlantic trade, because that's something that has kept the relationship between the two blocs also going for so many years. So that's one that was one of the agenda, and the other agenda was, of course, Ukraine. And these were the two real big ticket points as far as that meeting was concerned. So with regards to trade, they have, they have tried to placate, they've tried to persuade Trump and keep Trump happy. There are many farmers in Europe who are very upset with the kind of deals that were worked out, because they are saying that with access, or with US getting easy and free access into Europe as far as their agricultural products are concerned, it's going to hit them really hard, especially dairy, seafood, and a few other. These are the two major commodities really as far as they are concerned. So there's a lot of criticism in Europe as well. But European Union leaders have felt that it is better to, give Trump what he is asking for right now than to get into a situation where China and US got a few years ago and the tariff wars and how it impacted China and what the kind of situation that India and the United States are facing. So that's the deal as far as the EU is concerned.
Got it, got it, got it. So I'll bring in the Putin angle again. So I mean, at the end of the press conference, President Trump was saying that we expect you to meet you soon, and Putin was saying that next time in Moscow. So what does that mean, and what is the way forward for all these things? I mean, the summit has happened, all these European leaders were there. Will the war come to an end, or it will keep on prolonging? Because as you said, Trump has another 3 more years, and Biden was nowhere in the picture when he was in the regime or when he was the president, actually, because you was keep on commenting on when he meet the press, and it was more of a social media condemnation, or it was more of a social media threat. Nothing happened more than that. But President Trump brought in the man himself to the Alaska and made a summit, and then something has happened. So what can we, what is the way forward? Let's say in 1 year, let's say in more than a 1 year also.
See, the idea as far as President Trump is concerned is very clear, that he wants to ensure that some kind of peace is brought about between Ukraine and Russia, not because he is a great man of peace or he wants to, see suffering coming to an end, etc. He has one agenda. He wants the Nobel Peace Prize, and he has made it very, very clear that that is something that he wants, as long as he is president. And of course, he also understands that once his term as president gets over, it's something that is going to be very difficult for him to push through. So at least while he's still president, if he gets it, he knows that he has got the Nobel Peace Prize. Now that can be possible, he thinks, if he brings about peace in Russia and Ukraine, because nobody else has been able to do that, and nobody else has been able to persuade Russia no matter what. As far as Moscow is concerned, as far as the summit in Moscow is concerned, Putin is absolutely right in saying that let's have the next summit in Moscow. I have come to your country. You come here if you want to, talk to me, or if you want to deal with me, or if you have anything to say to me. And one thing about Putin is he has stood his ground. He has said that, I am not going to bow down, or I am not going to cow down, or I am not going to be scared or afraid of anything that you throw at me. I am on par with you. I am going to treat you as an equal. And you also better treat me as an equal, because otherwise this is not going to go anywhere. Now he has made it very clear. And that's one thing that I like about President Putin as well. He has just stood his ground firm, and he has made it clear as to what he wants. And I think even the West and everyone else also knows the ground reality. In fact, even Trump has said on record that, Ukraine can forget about Crimea, because that's something that is not going to be on the table ever. Right? So there has to be a little more give and take. Now, how much of that give and take is going to happen it remains to be seen, because Russia has the stomach. It has shown us over the last 3 years that it can withstand whatever pressure is thrown at them, because the world also still needs Russia for so many other things.
Yeah.
All right. Now, this is something, if you look at history as well, the Russians have shown us through history also that they have the stomach to fathom and to digest anything. You look at the World War also. Even though the Hitler's forces and the Nazis attacked the Russians and thought that they could take them on easily, but they didn't. They either easily withered the storm. They knew what to do. They knew their tactics. They fought the long battle, and they came up on top. So the same kind of strategy is being used even now, and they are learning from their own history and implementing it. So it's going to be very difficult. As far as when will the war come to an end? Will the war come to an end? The war will come to an end at some point in time. But you are asking me whether, 1 year from now, do you see peace? Unless the terms are agreed upon, and unless it is on Putin's terms, I don't see the war coming to an end anytime soon. So in the next 1 year, I don't think so.
Okay.
But if Putin's terms are agreed to at some point in time, then it will come to an end, but it will be a far, far, far weakened Ukraine by that time, and it will clearly show that Russia is the winner, like you were speaking about earlier, about who the winner is going to be. It will be loud and clear that Putin and Russia are the winners.
Got it. So before going on to the trade and tariffs war, which is announced in the Asian countries, especially India and China, I'll discuss briefly about the Operation Sindoor and I mean, the post-Operation Sindoor, the negotiations or the whatever Trump is claiming that I was the negotiator between, I made the ceasefire, or I was the initiator of that thing as well. So what actually happened? And the parliament had a special session on the Operation Sindoor, and from the external affairs minister to the prime minister, everyone clearly stated that there was no involvement of the United States, and vice president has given a call, that is JD Vance has given a call. Then we replied to JD Vance that ask the Pakistani counterpart to contact us. So that was happened, and then we clearly made that we had then initiated the talkings with them. This happened on, exactly, if I'm not wrong, 9th or 10th of May, if I'm not wrong. So what actually happened aftermath of Operation Sindoor, and then we went into the international counterparts and explained how Pakistan has been doing for all these years, and we have been putting our stance very clear to them. Actually, there was a separate delegation to the US as well. And why Trump is claiming taking the credit, and especially, and he is saying again and again while he is meeting the press, and he is also bringing Pakistan very close to the White House as well. Which earlier also happened, but Trump was supposed to be believed that he is a very good friend of India and Prime Minister Modi as well. But this thing, it's suddenly out of the box, he is bringing Pakistan very close to the White House. So what's happening in behind, and why is Trump acting so, unusual, rather than being closer with India and being closer with Pakistan?
Two parts to this question. Let's take them separately. One is, of course, Operation Sindoor and what the United States has said, and where do we stand as far as that entire issue is concerned. I think I stand firmly with the Indian government as an Indian and as a Bharatiya. I would say that I believe my government, and I believe what has been said by my government as well. And it has not been said just as a press conference. It has been said at all platforms, and the most important platform also being within Parliament itself, on the floor of the House in Parliament, where we have clearly and categorically said time and again that there was no direct intervention really as far as the United States is concerned between what happened between India and Pakistan, and India and Pakistan did whatever it is that they had to do bilaterally. It was not a unilateral or a trilateral or a multilateral discussion at all. So whatever had to be done was done between India and Pakistan. That is very, very clear. And I believe my government, as far as what President Trump is doing and saying and trying to bring this issue up at every forum and trying to poke India in every aspect as to how he intervened directly between India and Pakistan, and that's why the situation was brought under control, or brought to what it was later seen. It's very clear, like I said earlier in the program as well, that his agenda is simple. He wants to be seen as the champion of peace and the champion who has brought peace to the entire world. Now, hypothetical situation, say for instance, there are no conflicts between Asia. The conflict between Russia and Ukraine is completed and there are no more conflicts left. He is going to get involved in every conflict that is there in Africa now, and then say that, I have brought peace to Africa as well. So he wants to be seen. He has also seen, and history has shown us, that there are a lot of people who are remembered today, and a lot of posters that we see around the place as well, because he believes that they are the ones who have contributed immensely to bringing peace to those nations, be it Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela is a name that is spoken about on every tongue, on every continent, in every country. Everybody knows Nelson Mandela. Everybody knows Mahatma Gandhi. So he wants to be compared or put on par with those kind of personalities, immortal personalities who will never be forgotten. And he believes that the route is only through peace. And through peace, he can achieve this, because again, going back to history has shown that these two individuals had done it by doing what it is that they did. So that is the path that he wants to follow. So he wants to be involved in any conflict zone, any conflict area, to be a part of his bigger plan of someone who has brought peace to this world. So that's why he has been interfering between India and Pakistan and saying what he has been saying. That's the matter. We also know from history that President Trump's statements many a time should not be taken at face value. Many of his insiders and inside staff themselves have come out and spoken about how he has said one thing, but it was actually something else.
Okay.
Right? So, do I believe Trump or do I believe my government? I believe my government, and I believe my leaders, and I believe uh, them at the end of the day because of their track record as well, right? And because I'm an Indian and I have faith in my government. Simple. Now, the second part of the question, Pakistan. India has countered Trump every step of the way when he has said that he is the one who brought about peace between India and Pakistan. He is miffed, he is irritated, he is upset, he is pissed off with India because India has done that. So, what do I do now? The best way is to go and become the friend of my enemy, or become the friend of my friend's enemy, so that I can rub them the wrong way and and make them feel bad about
Here,
it.
the both of them came together. That is China, actually.
Yes.
Okay.
So that is what he is doing at the end of the day. So President Trump, is showing that he is getting closer to Pakistan. The Pakistan Army chief has been there, visited, spoken about so many things as well, only to rub India the wrong way and to say that if you do this to me, this is what I can do to you.
Okay.
That is where that matter ends.
Okay. So, I mean, is there anything else apart from getting closer to Pakistan? Because even, experts say that there should not be a new Bangladesh in the upcoming years. The Balochistan should not get, a separate country status as well, and it should not be independent. And recently, they have announced the Baloch Liberation Front and Army as the designated terrorist group as well from the United States side. So, is that putting, they don't want India to become more stronger in the Asian region, or what's behind that actually?
So, as far as Asia is concerned, as far as some aspects that the United States has learnt as well, is that, sometimes you tend to do things like this. It's a big mistake if the United States goes down that line, because Pakistan time and again has shown that they have snakes in their own backyard, and the United States is taking care of snakes at the end of the day, because they did the same thing with the Taliban and Afghanistan, and we saw what happened in that situation. In Pakistan as well, if they continue to engage with Pakistan in the way that they are, at some point in time, the United States is going to get its fingers burnt. Yes, Trump is upset. Trump is clearly, visibly upset with the way things have gone between India, and hence he's trying to get closer to Pakistan. There is no doubt about it. And as far as trying to curb or control India, let's not forget that India is the largest democracy in the world. India's democratic values are strong. India's democracy was not given any chance in 1947 by many leaders, many people around the world. We said that, India's democracy is not going to last. It's something that is going to be on thin ice, etc. Our greatest achievement as we stand in 2025 today is our vibrant democracy, and our democracy continues to thrive. And we have shown the world that we are a force to reckon with as far as our democracy is concerned. So, from a political perspective, it is common sense to note that India and the United States can be dear friends from a political perspective because of the kind of democratic backgrounds that we have. It is foolhardy but to say that some leaders may not take this in the right spirit, and we've seen Trump not taking it in the right spirit because it has become more personal and more between him and India rather than two nations as such.
Got it.
So that is where the situation stands. The good thing is Trump's regime is going to last for another 3 more years.
Okay.
And after that, there is going to be a change. And if you look at India and the United States relationship, it's a strong and a deep relationship. It goes beyond Trump. Of course, right now, Trump is at the heart and the center of it. But it goes beyond that as well, cutting across party lines. So India still has a lot of good faith, goodwill really as far as the political establishment within the United States is concerned. And we have a great diaspora as well. So that is something that that we can count on and is going to work in the future. And we will rebuild this relationship. All is not lost. All is not lost. And I think somewhere down the line, even the United States knows it and understands it. And it is a relationship that is going to get better in times to come.
Got it. So, what's left for Zelensky? I asked earlier. What's left for Pakistan is now the question, because they, on the United States soil itself, they have been giving nuclear threats and all, which which is merely a joke for us actually, and we didn't give any reactions also to that. I mean, any answers or any replies to back them as well. So, what's left for Pakistan? Like, I mean, after Balakot, if I'm not wrong, Imran Khan kept. Tweeting, or he kept speaking about the BJP or the present leadership, or that time also the same government was there. So what's left to the Pakistan and the present leadership, and can we expect a Balochistan in upcoming days? Because because we went in strike and we took an air strike, and it was huge thing which we did. I mean, not from the border areas itself. We were close to Lahore. We were close to Islamabad and many other places. So, what's left for Pakistan in the upcoming days?
Pakistan is trying to bargain, like Zelensky, trying to buy as much time as possible. You know, Pakistan at the end of the day is not doing economically very well. Pakistan's economy is in the doldrums. The people of Pakistan are feeling the brunt of it and feeling the pressure of it. The saber rattling between India and Pakistan has to continue, especially for the ISI and certain elements within the Pakistani army, because if this does not happen with India, then they have nothing to do. And so this will continue, because there are a lot of people's political careers, a lot of people's lives, a lot of people's heft, power, etc. that are dependent on this. As far as Pakistan is concerned, Pakistan also has shown a lot of resilience over the years, trying to fight it out and trying to fight it with grit, etc. They have always gone to the Muslim Islamic countries and all of that and asked for help, and they have received the kind of help that they wanted as well. And China also has helped them tremendously over the years. China, of course, as far as India and China are concerned, cannot be trusted, because again, if you go back into history, it clearly shows us that China is someone that you need to watch your back out for. And yes, collaborate with them, maybe try to get the best out of the situation. And it seems, at least at the moment, that it's a good thing that India and China are getting slightly closer with each other, because it is at least keeping Pakistan at bay. But China can rake up Pakistan, can bring up any other issue, and in fact can heat up issues on the border between India and China as well anytime that they want to. And when we least expect it is when China goes and does something adventurous. That is something that the history has shown us as well. So we need to really be watchful, and we need to be really careful. So Pakistan is going to continue to do what it's going to do. And like you also mentioned, that these threats and all of that are just empty threats, and they are not something that we need to worry about. But that does not mean that we let our guard down. We need to always keep our guard up, because Pakistan has very cleverly learnt the art of a low-cost warfare. And that low-cost warfare has a lot of implications for India. So
narrative warfare.
Narrative warfare is one thing, but even low-cost warfare, that they are using time and again, send two or three terrorists here and there to kind of terrorize the people, which they very, very successfully did with regards to Pahalgam. Right? So those kind of things that we need to be aware of. In fact, even I am of the opinion that Pahalgam shouldn't have happened at all. We shouldn't have allowed it to happen.
Exactly.
So Pakistan is going to continue to do these kind of things. How prepared are we? How vigilant are we going to be? How well is our intelligence and security apparatus going to deal with this? Are we going to put an end to it before it happens as well? A few months ago, before the Pahalgam attack itself happened, I was speaking somewhere, I don't remember where, and I was very proud and I was very happy about the fact that, after the Mumbai terror attacks, there hasn't really been a major terror attack, so to speak, on Indian soil. Of course, there was Pathankot and all of
all
the
these
others.
are border areas.
Not just border areas. The Pathankot and all of that was more on military establishments, not civilians.
Uri,
not civilians. Uri,
Yeah.
Pathankot, etc. were military establishment, not civilians. So after 26/11, no real civilian attacks, so to speak, other than a few incidents here and there. Of course, those also should not have happened in Kashmir. Right? So this was a major really attack or major event that took place. So I was saddened, deeply saddened by that. Like I said, I was proud of the fact that no real attack had happened since 2008 in that sense. So we need to be vigilant. We need to give credit to our government as well for ensuring that no such attacks took place for a long, long period. But we need to be vigilant. We need to be aware of what Pakistan is capable of. Big threat, no, but smaller threats, because at the end of the day, every Indian's life matters. So let us not lose. And the way we lost the lives in Pahalgam was very, very hurtful. So those are the kind of things that we really need to avoid, and that's what we need to be prepared for.
Has the current India-US situation or the tariff wars on Asia, will come on that topic actually, has the tariff war on Asia brought India-China closer? We'll discuss the India-China relationship as the Prime Minister is also visiting the China. I mean, like, he's also visiting Japan as well. So, I mean, after let's say 5 to 6 years, the Prime Minister is visiting China, and even though informal summits have happened last year in Kazan as well. So, what brings us now to? Sorry. So, what is it bringing the China and India a very closer manner? Because for all these years, we have been seeing the border tensions, and all these years there has been, exchange of words and exchange of many things. But somewhere or the other, there have been some differences, and there have been some issues between the two countries, the two major players of the Asian region. So, has the US brought in the China and India together? Can we say like that?
I believe that it's more temporary in nature. Right now, India and China are facing the brunt of what the United States and Trump has been doing, and hence it is easy for us to come together, right? And that is something that helps both the countries as well. But like I said, India can be trusted. India can become a natural ally to anyone because of the nature, because that's how our nature is. But can China be trusted? China can't be trusted. That is the problem. So as far as China is concerned as well, we can't let our guard down. We need to be vigilant, because China is capable of doing anything and everything. And like I mentioned earlier as well, when we least expect it is when China can do something, and that is what is going to hurt us the most, because it will feel like a knife in the back. And that can happen at any point in time. So yes, India and China have gotten closer together. In fact, Russia is also in the mix of things, and Russia becomes a natural ally and partner and natural companion, really, as far as India and China are concerned, because of everything that's happening in the West. It's a great alliance. It's a great alliance on paper. How long can we make it work is the question. If it is something that we can make work, you're going to see a bipolar world. Okay, I'm going to go to the extent of saying that we're going to see a bipolar world, where we have on the one side you have the US and maybe its partners in the EU, and the other side you have countries like Russia, India, and China. And
already there is an RIC.
RIC is there, but it's not working on the collaboration between the two countries is not at that kind of a level.
Everyone got their own priorities.
Yes.
Russia went to war, and
yes.
we have our own priorities. So it was.
So whereas the Europeans and the Americans, despite their differences in the recent past and all of that, they work as a well-oiled, cohesive unit. You can't say the same about Russia, India, and China. The RIC partnership or alignment that we have, it is not a well-oiled, cohesive unit. And we are not doing anything together in that sense as far as global outreach or a global program is concerned. So, but it can be formidable. It's something that can work wonders as well. And throw into the mix Brazil too. So it is something that has promise. It is something that the United States and the European Union also understand, that this, if it happens, means trouble for us. They will not let it happen. And India has always maintained, right from the non-alignment days, strategic autonomy. So that is going to be the center focus of our diplomatic outreach or diplomacy, so to speak. So I don't see it going beyond the point. It is good to come together now to try and, offset
Okay.
the tariffs that the United States has imposed. But in the long run, I would like it to happen, but I don't see it happening.
Okay. I would like to mention some of the things which has happened recently. Recently, in a private program in New Delhi, the Chinese ambassador to India has also said that the United States actions are unbelievable and unfavorable. Also, I'm putting in a different language. He said it in the same tone actually. And the foreign minister was there, and our external affairs minister Dr. S. Jaishankar also went and met President Xi, and prime minister is meeting for going for the SEO summit over there, and a lot of things are taking place. And can we say that in a way that both the sides are trying to rebuild the relationship? And the border talks as well is happening as well. Duval was there, and the foreign minister was also there. Can we say that both the sides are trying to rebuild the relationship, which was a little away from each other?
There's no doubt about it that both nations are trying to build the relationship and trying to sort out, because it has been said on many occasions that this century is Asia's century, and more so India's and China's century. If both the countries can put aside their border differences, what is the main issue really? The main issue is border tensions, nothing else really, between India and China. And of course, China's all-weather friend is Pakistan, and we have a major problem with Pakistan. Pakistan has a major problem with us. That is the other main challenge or main problem between India and China. Apart from that, the relationship is fine. Of course, then the spying allegations, but China does that with everybody, not just with India. China tries to spy with everybody. That's their nature, and that's how they believe. They believe that they can be on top of a situation, or they can be the true superpower in the world in the years to come. So that is what their ideology and their belief and their thinking is. We need to be watchful about that. Like I said, we need to take care of our own national integrity, national security, and national alliance as well, and work out some kind of a common minimum program for now, and build on that common minimum program and go into the future. And that common minimum program is something that both nations are working on right now. It's a lot of posturing and signaling as well, because if you look at the nature of President Trump's threats, they are more of threats, and actually actions happen very rarely. And this is something that the world has come to learn and understand. So it's clearly a message being sent out to Trump, and message being sent out to the rest of Europe and others as well, that if you trouble us, we can collaborate with each other and we can do a lot of things together. So that message is also loud and clear, and that message is being sent out to the rest of the world. Just as Trump is trying to send India a message by saying that I am getting closer to the Pakistani army chief.
Okay.
So this is also a message that we are sending out to the world, and clearly both countries are also trying to work on the relationship. There is no doubt about it. Ever since Galwan, of course, there was a lot of tension, and there was a lot of the elastic between India and China had been pulled to a large extent. It did not snap, of course. Now that elasticity is coming closer and closer, and we have worked on it. A lot of military level talks have happened between both the countries. They've tried to figure out what needs to be done. India is now talking about, trying to bring about a permanent solution to the border issue between India and China. How these matters are tackled going into the near future, I would say the next 6 months to 1 year are going to be extremely crucial as far as the relationship between India and China is concerned. As long as we can build that relationship, it's more like climbing the ladder for India and China. Say we are at the bottom of the ladder now. We can't go right to the top. How do you reach on top of the ladder? You climb each step. So along the way, we need to work on, shorter goals, and saying that this is our first goal, this is our second goal, this is our fourth goal, seventh goal, eighth goal, 10th goal, and pick up the relationship in that manner. So steps up the ladder, achieving each target along the way is the way to go forward for India and China.
So you also mentioned about the Brazil angle as well, and the Brazilian President Lula has also tweeted about the tariffs which is going on. And can we say that especially is targeting the BRICS countries or the countries which is very close to Russia? In a way, we all saw what how he behaved with the South African president also. I mean, if I'm not wrong, Cyril Ramaphosa. So we all know how he has behaved with the South African president. I mean, is he trying to corner the countries which is closer to Russia? Because all these, at the end of the day, it's all the BRICS countries, and the tariffs is way higher. China is facing 225%. We are facing for every press conference and for every expose, we are getting 25% additional tariffs also. So what is he trying to do? I mean, is he trying to balance his image, or okay, let's say I'm the master of this free world or something like that, or okay, if you go close with Russia, I'll put more tariffs on you. What is he trying to do actually?
There is no doubt that he is upset with the BRICS nations, and that is very, very clear, because the BRICS nations also were trying to work on, an alternative currency, etc. Of course, that was in a very, very nascent stage. It was just more of a mention and, thinking. It was more in the thinking stage. Let's put it that way. But Trump or the West wanted to nip it in the bud and do not want to give that kind of a thought any traction. And hence, the issue with the BRICS nations started. Now, Brazil is not a small country, and all these leaders are world leaders, and they have their own representation, and they have their own power and reputation and strength as well, right? Now, you cannot go and treat them like rag dolls. Now, President Trump has clearly, the way he spoke to Lula and the way he has treated the Brazil as a whole has been not befitting really of two world leaders, so to speak. So obviously he's going to get upset. Obviously he's going to get, offended by what is happening, and he has taken the right tone. I think when President Trump said that, I'm going to take further action against you, he said, fine, go ahead and take further action. I'm going to dial my friends India and China and figure out what needs to be done. So there is
immediately did that.
Yes, there is only that much that any world leader will take. Like we discussed, it's about reputation as well. They are also world leaders for a reason. He's heading his country for a reason. So if you go and rub him, because he is representing millions of people from his country too. So if someone ridicules you or puts you down, it's not only just putting you down, but it's putting your entire country behind you, country down, because you're leading that country and you're representing that country at the highest level. So I think he did the right thing by going ahead and saying that, I'm going to just dial my friends and figure out what needs to be done. And that's something that has upset Trump a little more as well. But I think the message is loud and clear from all these leaders. Even, our EM.S. Jaishankar has spoken about how diplomacy can't be done through tweets, or diplomacy can't be done in such a way. And he's even gone on to the extent of saying that, or meaning that this is just an empty threat, and we know that these are empty threats, and we'll deal with it how we have to deal with it. But talks are still on. So the world is also getting fed up and tired of the tactics of Trump, and they're all coming together. And I think it is much needed. It's a message that is being sent out to the entire world.
So what can we expect in near future? Will the tariffs be reduced, or because this is just the beginning. So Prime Minister is meeting Xi, and all these things are taking place. I think immediately after the Alaska summit, also Prime Minister dialed. Both President Putin and Prime Minister Narendra Modi had a phone call as well, and all the European leaders, including President Macron, also tweeted the firm support of bringing Russia-Ukraine war to a conclusion as well. So we are also taking our place, because we have been pushing for a ceasefire, or have been pushing for a peace for a very long time as well. So what is it? In future, will the tariffs get reduced, or will the tariff gets increased as well?
It's difficult to say, whether it will be decreased or increased, because President Trump acts on a whim, and, tomorrow he may just wake up on the wrong side of the bed and say, okay, today we'll increase the tariffs by 10 more percent.
Okay.
It's very difficult, because there is no, first and foremost, it is madness. But there is no method to the madness also to understand, what way or which way it will go. But clearly, it is not helping anyone, right? It is not helping India, because India, let's face it, has been badly impacted by the tariffs that have come through, especially small exporters, and the smaller businesses that look at exporting to the United States have been badly hit, right? and they are textiles, another sector which has been badly hit, and they are definitely going through a rough phase. And it is not something that is going to be ironed out anytime in the near future. The agreements that we are trying to get in place, either with an FTA with Europe or with China or with Russia or whatever it is that we are going to do, it's not going to be immediate relief. It is going to still take some time before it trickles down and comes and helps out the people who are actually on the ground, the smaller businessmen and the smaller exporters. So it is, and as far as the United States also is concerned, we are going to pass on the cost. There's only that much of a burden that we can bear as far as the extra costs are concerned. The costs are going to be extended to the end user at the end of the day. You're going to see massive inflation in the United States. You're going to see a big dent or a big impact on the US economy as well. So at some point in time, I see better sense prevailing. I see egos being put to the side, or ego being put to the side, and the issue being resolved. And the sooner it happens, the better it is for the entire world. Whether it will happen immediately or not is difficult to say, because of the nature of President Trump's temperament.
So I would like to have one or two last questions as well, sir. For every action from the United States, we keep on, we kept a befitting reply which has happened. So we have cut down our postal services, which is beyond 8,000 US dollars, 800 US dollars, 800 US dollars, if I'm not wrong. So, for all these tariffs and other things also, there has been instant reactions which is coming from the Ministry of External Affairs and from the others also. So, what is the way forward, and what are the challenges for Modi 3.0, especially with regards to foreign policy? And we are inventing and we are finding our old friends, we are getting closer as well. So, what is it that we are going to look forward for the next, let's say, 4 years, which is, the Modi 3.0 is, as far as Modi 3.0 is concerned?
One thing that has been a success story as far as India is concerned over the years since Prime Minister Modi came to power, I think one thing that has really stood out, and one thing that has, we can say, has been a resounding success, is our foreign policy. Our foreign policy has done wonders, and we have done really well as far as India's foreign policy is concerned. And that's in front of us for all of us to see, right? Be it our neighborhood, be it our extended neighborhood. Once upon a time, we hardly had any positive ties with, say, West Asia, United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Saudi Arabia also, for that matter. That entire dynamic has changed, and that is thanks to our economy picking up and thanks to our diplomacy as well, right? So as far as foreign policy is concerned, the next 3 to 4 years are going to be challenging. I'm not saying no, because we have a very volatile and a temperamental president and head of the world, so to speak, in the United States. United States is the most powerful country in the world, whether we like it or not. That is how it is, be it military wise or economy wise. And navigating through these difficult times is going to be challenging. One thing that I really liked is that despite these challenging moments and despite all the trouble that we've had, we've stood strong. And we have said that we are not going to compromise on our self-interest. We are not going to compromise really as far as our farmers and the others are concerned. And we have certain red lines that we are not going to cross no matter what you do. So that is a message that is going to go out loud and clear. And we've just not stopped at that. We are trying, it's a difficult time. Like I said, we're trying to engage with other nations. We're trying to engage with other partners. We're trying to build new partners. We're trying to get some kind of a solution out of this particular predicament that we are in. Not just that, we have not closed the doors on the United States as well, despite everything that President Trump has done. We are still negotiating. We are still trying to get some kind of reprieve, some kind of a deal worked out with the United States too. So this is going to continue over the next year or the next 2 years, etc. 3.0, we are going to see all of this continue, and we are also going to see India becoming far more stronger. We are looking forward to India becoming the third largest economy, and that will happen, of course, before the end of Modi 3.0. So all of those things are something that we have to look forward to, and I think difficult times, but let's move into the future with a lot of optimism, because we have seen over the last 11 years that we can truly navigate through these difficult times through our economy and diplomacy as well. Global institutes are saying that India is still a bright spot as far as the economy is concerned. Our growth is pegged well over 6%. So all of that is going to continue, and I think that India can show the world the way forward as well. And that's what we will be doing.
Got it. So, any other obstacles or any other major struggles can we do you visualize in the next upcoming 3 years? Because United States is an unprecedented obstacle for us, which has happened post Operation Sindoor as well. Do you see any barriers in the foreign policy in the upcoming years, sir?
See, as far as United States is concerned, I think with Trump right now, over the last 1.5 decade, this is the lowest that we've seen the bilateral relationship at. I don't think it can go any lower than this. I think from here we only go upwards.
Okay.
And that is, whether Trump likes it or not, the United States administration and the people of the United States are going to make sure that it happens. Okay? Because we are natural allies for the United States, and it's better for these two countries to work together to deal with many of the issues that are there in front of us. That is one. The biggest challenge, and I know right now, all the press and everybody else is very happy and very glad about Prime Minister Modi's visit to China, the SCO, etc., etc. But I am still a little skeptical about China, and that's where I stand, because I do not trust China, and I do not want to take anything that China says on face value. And history also has shown us time and again that China is not someone that can be trusted. In fact, that is the only reason why Russia has not gone fully on board with China. Because even Russia, somewhere at the back of their mind and somewhere, they do not trust China. Let's not forget that Russia has a huge border with China as well. Bigger than ours, in fact. And they have their own differences and their own issues there. But they are not kindled the way they are between India and China. So, that you ask me about stumbling blocks or, issues or hindrances, nothing at the moment. We are very happy and very cheerful about the entire India-China situation that is brewing and developing at the moment. But I would just say be a little watchful, be a little cautious about that.
It's always better to keep an eye on them.
Yeah, and so I don't see it as a obstacle at the moment, but it could be an obstacle at any point in time, and that is something that we need to watch out for.
Got it. Thank you so much, sir, and I hope we will bring it very frequently and regularly and present it to both of our viewers, and we'll give the insights. I mean, we need your insights, and we'll put it out in all the platforms as well, and it's better to hear insights from you, and rather, I mean, you are on the asking side, and we would be listening to your questions, and the guest would be answering to your questions, and now people are hearing your insights as well. So it's a pleasure always talking to you. Thank you so much for this wonderful time, sir, and I hope we'll regularly do this and put out these insights regularly there, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, Raghavan. It was wonderful to have this conversation with you. It was good to be on the other side of the chair for a change,
exactly.
Answering the questions rather than asking them. I hope we've been able to cover this particular issue at length, and yes, looking forward to bringing out more such content in the future together, between both the channels, Bharata First and the Nationalist Madrasi as well. So looking forward to bringing you more such content on foreign policy and, of course, about India and Bharata too. So do keep watching, and we'll keep bringing you this content.
Yeah. Thank you so much, dear viewers, and we will be presenting you more of this kinds of episodes in future and in upcoming days as well. We'll try to catch you post the Indo-China meet, that is the Prime Minister Modi's meet with the President Xi Jinping. We'll meet you after that Prime Minister Modi and Xi Jinping meet. Until then, stay tuned with us. Thank you so much.